We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thính, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, thính chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo hạ môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tập chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đàn Tô Sư Chế Đô Ye Ở La Hơ Đi Sam Miao Sam Tu Tô Xie. Nam mô Tạng Đắc Tha Tô Già Đa Gia A La Ha Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai qian Wan jian an zhao yu wo jin jian wen de shou qu yuan jie ru lai zhe shi yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Ting Lang, Rich Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨尽量大师师父上人各位主持人各位上智sư Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Thượng Tiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện sĩ sức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 20 Can you change the screen? The 29th, thank you, of November 2024. We're here in Go Forest to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. We're on slide 1151. Thank you for joining us. We are in the context of this verse here. I'm told that's from some sort of Taoist scriptures, that the Taoist scriptures, the Buddhists are thieves. You can be thieves. If it's good enough, we use it, and we tamper with it. So this sign here, actually, it's accord according to this verses here. The accord with the Buddhist principles, except that I changed the last line here, where I feel that it's repetitive. It doesn't add anything. Okay, I'm not sure what the original Taoist principle was talking about, but from Buddhist perspective, this is redundant because it's basically the same concept as the previous sentence, okay, which says, inside, this is very important for you to remember this. This is actually the guidelines for you open your wisdom, okay? So you're on the right track when eventually you practice, eventually you say the inside is no body and mind, outside is no world. And when you look and in order to get there, as I explained the last time, you need to use contemplation, or this is what we train you spiritually, the skills, develop skills for you to do contemplation. You contemplate in the mind, inside, you see there's no mind. When you contemplate outside, or the marks, or the appearances, marks are different words for the same concept. There are no marks, no appearances. All right? So this is Buddhist wisdom. And this is a path that you all will go towards, all of you. And many of you have reached there already without even knowing it. All right? And so, but when the time comes, you will be able to use these principles. And when the time for you to explain, you'll be able to explain these principles yourself. And so we are on 1151. So basically, he says that, Master YongHua says, basically, there's nothing at all. There's nothing to be attached to. Including what? Yourself and your being right. The world, people of the world are so attached to being right. And Buddhist wisdom is nothing at all. Okay? Your attachment to being right is only a temporary thing. If you really have wisdom, you should be attached to what? To the right things that will lead you to be free from right and wrong. But if the more you cultivate, the more righteous you become, then you're on the wrong path. This is what happened to externalists. They are so sure of themselves. Even enlightened people make the same mistake. They said, I've been certified to be enlightened, therefore, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know some, but you don't know so much more. Okay? Don't be so sure of yourself, because wisdom, the wisdom that these enlightened people, especially in our temple, are very, very shallow, very minimal. It's meant to be an entry point, not to be the whole bowl of wax. As you learn more about the Avatamsaka Sutra, as you become enlightened, it takes these people billions of years to become enlightened, and after they become enlightened, they became enlightened. They spend billions of years to stabilize themselves. And you think you can achieve it all in 5 years? Okay, it's only appetizer, if you will. In Vietnam, we call it bánh quải cuốn. Okay, in China, we call it fried wonton. Doesn't matter, it's just appetizers. Or you go to the Italian restaurant, it's called caprese salad. Never mind. Okay, so when it means there's nothing at all, you'll be able to let go of everything. Okay? No need to be so attached in particular to your being so right. I eat lunch here at Go Force, and people are always arguing about, no, you're wrong. No, you're so wrong. And I always chuckle. I say, my God, these guys spend so much time and effort to come here and to just argue about right and wrong. And that is just a great bright treasury of light. Okay, it's about great bright treasury of light. Is because if you have wisdom, you shine your wisdom light, your innate wisdom, light onto things, you'll be able to let go of all the appearances. Yes, 5. Would you like to confess?
And I lose. Last. Master, what is the entry if the appetizers, you talk about appetizer, what is the end? What is the main dish?
It's just like you, I'm sorry I used a bad example. Looking at you, I thought another example, like you immigrants. Okay, first time you came to the United States of America. Okay? Legal. See, again, this guy is so stuck on legal, illegal. You see the narrowness of mind here? You say it has to be legal, illegal. It's nothing at all. When are you going to learn? Anyway, so this is the first time you came to America, and everything's so different from your own world, okay, your own country, and that's only the beginning, the entry point. Is so much to discover, so much to learn, so much to adapt, and that's the same thing with enlightenment. Once you become enlightened, we certify to 1A, 2A, 1G, and so forth. It's only to tell you, hey, now you have the ability to explore these things. Now you can afford to explore it within your reach. Okay? But of course, typical you people up here in Northern California assume that you have been certified, therefore you made it. No, you only when you're just like an immigrant. You have so much to learn. And you have to be more humble. You realize that the people here know so much more than you. They only tolerate you. Okay? And so Master YongHua says, no Buddha hall, no Buddha, no living being, there's nothing whatsoever. And that's Buddhist wisdom. Okay? And even in spite of all that, and the more I come up here, the more, especially through the last election and so forth, people are so stuck on being right. I've thought of immigrating to Canada just to get away from all of you, or Korea. Okay, 11:52. So what's the point? And Master YongHua said, if it's nothing else, what's the point? Okay? So what can you do about it? If it's nothing at all, what are we supposed to do about it? And this is so Chinese. He says, and this has really bothered me. This is so Indian and Chinese. It's like they say it's like, so the saying, the corporate line, the standard Buddhist answer is that what we want to do about it is like putting a hat on top of a hat, which is not necessary. You have a hat already. Putting another hat on top of it looks weird, looks funny. Okay? And so, or according to Master YongHua here, this is his, not the putting a hat on top of a hat is what the Buddha says. And Master YongHua says riding a donkey to look for a donkey. In Vietnam is, we call it how do you say ride in Vietnam? Cưỡi trâu, tìm trâu. You ride a buffalo looking for a buffalo. Okay, you're already on the buffalo and yet you're still looking for a buffalo. Never mind, it's not even funny to the Vietnam people. Usually, older people would find it funny. Young people, they don't find it funny. Anyway, so you find something to do when there's nothing to do, and there's nothing that can be said, okay? And this is what I feel as this is the bottom line, but it is not helpful for people like you who are still so attached to everything. Okay? So my version of it is that all this are just talk. The Chinese talk too much. The Vietnam talk too much. They argue. The Chinese Vietnamese argue who's right and who's wrong. Okay, they always do that. Okay, no matter how far we separate them. It's not even funny. Let me tell you. And so, what are we supposed to do if there's nothing whatsoever? What does it mean? Putting a top on top of a head. See, the Chinese like to explain it that way, okay? And it's logical, but to me, it's confusing. It may make sense to you, Asian, but to me, it bothered me. I say, putting a head on top of the head. It's not even in our culture. So how can we explain this? It's all empty. What does it mean? Yeah? What does it mean? Can you give something that can make sense to your kids there? You don't need to be an adult. You criticize them, you better give them something else. Anyone in Asia? What does it mean? Putting a top on top of a head. What's the alternative explanation? XS2, what is the European version? I'm looking at something ethnic. How can you explain this to your Spanish-speaking people?
It's like doing something that is already done.
보선사 소리가 너무 낮습니다.
Something that is not necessary.
Can't
It's
hear
like
you.
doing something that is already done, something that is not necessary.
Something is what?
Already done. This is not necessary.
You always talk timidly like this when you're teaching a class? I see you talking to your wife and girlfriend this way, but you can't talk to your students this way. Say it again with authority.
It's like doing something that is already done. Something that is superficial to do.
Doing something is already done. No. Anyone else? Europeans don't get it. Putting a head on top of a head really means that you have a head that works already. You don't need another one. So you're doing something that's not necessary. That's a concept. Okay? You don't need to do anything. So how do you explain this? Let's forget the Chinese. Let's forget the Vietnam. Let's forget the Europeans. How shall we do it in America? How should we explain to you, American people, or people who follow American Mahayana? Huh? You better have something. You call it American Mahayana, you better have a different way of helping people. That's not Chinese. It's not Vietnam. It's not, Cambodian. It's not Thai. Not Korean. No help from K-Land? Trung Yin Suni, you feel better after eating lunch?
Yes, Master.
I'm glad. See, he looks better after eating. See, earlier, yes, Master. Now it's yes, Master. So much authority, conviction. So how can you teach your students now? Huh? How can you teach them that you're doing something superfluous, you're doing something that's not necessary? How can you help people? You tell them, don't put a head on top of a head. Most people don't understand what it means. Because what you try to do, let me remind you, is to help them bring to there's nothing at all. Right? Then how did it switch from nothing at all to putting a head on top of a head? The question is, if the teacher says, the monk says, it's nothing at all, that's your wisdom, that's the innate wisdom, is that you should be able to see there's nothing at all. And then Master YongHua said, but people ask me, when I tell them that, people ask me, so what am I supposed to do? And Master YongHua said, it's you asking me, it's like asking me to help you put a head on top of a head. Chinese logic. And we Americans are, seriously? You call it explanation? It bothered me, it really bothered me. I couldn't ask anyone. So I'm asking you now. You supposedly people who are enlightened already. Huh? So what are you supposed to do? Everyone so quiet. If you say, do nothing, does it help? He says there's nothing to do. So you say, do nothing. How does it help? Isn't that doing something when you do nothing? Never mind, I'm playing with words with you. So what are you supposed to do? He says here, so if nothing at all, so what am I to do? You see, I want you to see the difference between how we train you, American Mahayana follower, versus the Asian, how they train it. This is very important. The Asians, that's how I learned, how I was trained. There's nothing to do. You're trying to put a head on top of a head. I pondered about this for 10 years. I gave up, so I don't get it. Okay, I'd love to have two heads. If one works so well, we Americans like to have two, maybe three, maybe four. That's us Americans. You can't talk to us like this. Yes, JC.
네, 주미님 답입니다. 사족을 붙이다 뱀의 그림에 다리를 그려 넣다. 불필요한 것을 한 것이다. 라는 답 주셨습니다.
Jumi's answer, we express, we put the leg on the snake.
Excuse me?
We put the leg on the snake.
You put the leg on the snakes. That's Korean. You add, it's not put, you add the legs on the snakes. It's also Korean, it's also Chinese. The Korean took it from China. Okay, like when you draw a snake, and then you add the legs to the snakes. Okay? Anyone else? Too bad none of you is really American. I'm the only real American here. So what to do? You ask me for something to do. If I say do nothing, then you're actually doing something, aren't you? The smart Alex will tell you, but isn't that doing something? I'm not helping myself, am I? Yes, Evan. What do you do?
Does it mean that everything is normal? There's nothing to worry about?
Boy, are we in trouble? Yes, you too. Everything is normal? Are you kidding me? Right now, you cannot say it's normal. It's a lot of suffering. It'll be worse. It's becoming worse and worse and worse. You cannot say don't do anything. Yes, you too. Everything is normal, so this woman normalizes suffering. You suffering, that's normal. Hey,
Thank you.
leg pains, that's normal, you know? It makes sense. Yes, you too.
Thank you, Master. We have someone whose name is No One. No One says, does it mean you don't take things too seriously? Give it your best and let it be.
Find your best and let it be, let it be, let it be.
Be, let it be.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. The vibes of that. Let it be, let it be. Okay? But that is not going to help you. Okay? That's it's not going to help you understand it's nothing at all. What are you supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Yes, Wei Mao.
Emitofuo, Master. Maybe doing like by example. I mean, like, for example, if you say something that is nothing, you try to make that person like experience that by maybe tell him or her to go back to your navel, to not to think. That's why you don't put like two heads. You just like try to not make them not to think, using different kind of experience, like going back to your navel, like reciting mantras.
No. Stop, honey. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You have potential. Don't ruin it.
Sorry.
You are such a good tracks, and then you have to go back to your navel, go back to the mantra. No. Stop before it's too late. This is why we only have a quota. You each have 3 or 4 sentences. That's it. If you have to explain for so long, you're going to get lost. Okay? But good start. Okay, anyone else? Very good. It's so Mexican. There's potential there. Anyone? It's very simple. For you, if someone asks you, if you say, Buddhist wisdom is nothing whatsoever. Okay? Nothing at all. If you have wisdom, you're nothing at all. Meaning that, what does it mean, nothing at all? You're not attached to anything. Right? But you are full of attachment right now. So the question they ask, so I have a lot of attachments. That's the meaning of the question. So what do I do? Precisely. The Asians are too, they talk around and round and round. For we Americans, what do I do? Tell me, what do I do? Okay? And if you cannot say, don't do anything, because not doing anything is doing something already. Okay? It creates confusion. So what do I do? What you do is not do what you want to do right now. That's all. What do I do? Don't do it, is the answer. Don't argue. Let him win. Still don't get it. I put up with all of you some back and forth, but you know, back and forth, every single time since November. Would you believe? The beginning of the month, I was hoping things would get better, but no, it got worse and worse. And after the election's over, it got worse. People now complain to me in public, what's going to do about this? I feel so bad. In order for you, a summary, in order for you to experience nothing whatsoever, let me tell you the American style. Okay? Mahayana American style. Remember that series? Love Boat American Style? Never mind. You're too young for that. Yeah, you are so young. I'm dating myself. Anyone watch Love Boat anymore? The series? See, no one knows. 2 series, yeah, the new version. Thank you, sir. Okay. So it's like love American style kind of thing. So this is the same thing. Mahayana American style. They can never claim it's Chinese or Indian. Let me tell you. What am I supposed to do? If it's nothing at all, what am I supposed to do? Do nothing. In particular, do not do what you have the urge to do right now. Right now. Then you understand it's nothing at all. Don't say, don't put a, you're trying to ask me about how to put a head on top of a head. You're making it, the Chinese are making too many excuses. We Americans have to be direct. Tell me, what do I do? What to do? Nothing. In particular, the one you have the urge to do right now, stop it. That's all. Am I making sense or not? Yes, 4. Confess.
Emitofuo Master. Yes, it makes sense. It bothered me so long time.
Bothers you so long time?
Yeah, I listen
what bothers you?
I listen to my master YongHua's teaching, and he often mentioned the put a hat on another hat, and
it's from the Buddhas.
Yeah,
that's from Buddha's teaching.
It's so confusing. I don't know what does it mean. But thank you, Master, today then for explaining it to us that don't do what we want to do. That's very clear. Yeah. So.
No, he still doesn't get it. What did I tell you? This guy twists my teachings constantly. What do I do? What do I say? Did you get it or not? XF, you knew here. You were listening, I hope. What did I say? Never mind. Anyone? I'm very precise in my words. 5.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I don't know exactly what you're asking, Master. I thought about something, but forgot about it.
And?
I think
you weren't sure what I was saying, so you have to raise your hand.
No.
I wasn't sure what you were saying.
I thought
put it down. Yes. 7. What did I say? What? Why me? I have an answer. I have a question, not an answer. Yes, fine.
I was going to say maybe Yong should just say Master is right.
Yes, that's way mountain. I'm going to postpone the answer first because I'm going to forget my answer. Yes, way mountain.
Master, I think you say that whatever you are urged to do something, don't do it. It's like a moment of affliction. It arises, the anger and all of it, and all of those thoughts saying in your head, telling you doing this, doing that.
I didn't say that much. Okay. Don't add words in my mouth. Put words in my mouth, okay? Cut it out. He's right. It's very simple. When you have the urge to do something so bad, like screaming, don't do it. Take a break. Got that? You catch yourself. The moment you have the strong urge to do something, doubt yourself. Then you understand there's nothing at all. That moment only, that's what matters. And the rest, if I feel like I am thirsty, drink water. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't kill yourself, okay? But when you're afflicted and you have the urge to act on your affliction, don't do it. That's all. Yes, ma'am. Question.
Thầy, nó không có quan trọng là cái thought của mình lúc đó là good thought hoặc là bad thought, phải không thầy?
All that matters is you have the strong urge to do it. Don't do it, that's all. That's all you have to do. Next time you have this urge to do something so bad, you say, not today. That's all. That's how you're going to understand there's nothing at all. But if you keep on indulging, okay, then it takes you a little bit longer. But eventually you understand it's nothing at all. I'm giving you a shortcut that the Chinese don't have. Asians don't have. You Asian people don't have. Okay? And now it's all of a sudden 11:53. Master Shen went to, most people don't understand this is a state and whatever, and it's opening of 5 eyes. See, they make a big deal out of the 5 eyes. And it's I call it a big deal because most of the people who so-called have opened their eyes, basically opened their heavenly eye. They couldn't even open the wisdom eye, and the Dharma eye and the Buddha eye. They only open the flesh eye maybe and the heavenly eye, but they always make a big deal out of it. It's so annoying. Especially, I hear people, I see this, Master has some tail. I say, yeah, I have a big tail. You only see a small tail. And sometimes people say like, this Master disciple has 3 heads. And so forth. They're so stuck on seeing these things that they don't realize that is not a big deal. When you see things, you have the urge to say it. This is if you really want to understand my Dharma, you see things, you have the urge to say, Master actually have 20 arms. Okay, when you have the urge to say that, shut up. I actually have 25, asshole. You like it? Okay? And what happened to I lost my mouse. How can I live without a mouse? Right there. Thank you. Okay, so, but anyway, Master YongHua said, see, this is one of the things that annoy me, because these people, this group, that group, they're so keen, they're so proud, they can see this, they can hear that, and they don't realize that they are stuck big time. Okay? Heavenly eye, talk about 5 eyes, you know this heavenly eye penetrates and unobstructed, flesh eyes unobstructed, it does not penetrate. These usually what the 2 eyes that most people have when they practice. Taoists, Buddhists, they all can open these 2 eyes. Okay? But it's not a big deal. And then if you really want, is actually, because when we speak of eyes, spiritual eyes, you want at least a Dharma eye. Okay? At least the wisdom eye. Okay? That's what you want. The first two, it's not a big deal. You have it or not. Okay. Unless you can see the next super lotto, okay, then I would be impressed. Okay. Otherwise, if you see whatever, what's a big deal? Okay. And what's a big deal is you have the wisdom eye, for example. That would be impressive. Or you have the Dharma eye. That is even better. Okay. Buddha eye, I don't know what it's like. Okay. 1,000 suns. Okay. And then Chinese translation, their illumination is different, but their substance is not. Okay? No. They illuminate differently, but the substance is the same. Okay? Huan Tong is the same. It's not. It's not. Okay? These people, they take so much liberty in the translation that it confuses you. Because it shows they don't understand the 5 eyes at all. At least the 4 eyes, for sure. They don't understand the 4 eyes. They may have 1 or 2, first 2, but they don't understand the 3 and 4 and the 5. That's why the translation sucks right here. It's very precise. Chinese instruction is very precise. And that's why maybe it's a conspiracy. They're trying to confuse us, English-speaking people. You know what I mean? Okay? They illuminate differently, meaning that what's behind them, the wisdom behind them is different. That's why their use is different. Okay? And this is what it means in Chinese. Okay? Okay? Zhao Yi. Okay? So they illuminate differently. You see? That's it. The translation. But Ti Huan Tong. So the substance return to the same. So we translate it as the substance is the same. Okay, Huan is even better. Returns to the same, but it's too much. Okay, we simplify. When they say Huan, is Chinese. We can cut our Huan even stronger. The substance is the same. No need for Huan. If you ask me in Chinese, I would cut out the Huan. Ti Tong. Okay? It sounds better, rhymes better. You see? Zhao Yi Ti Tong. Cut out the Huan here. Okay. Anyway, so that's the 5 eyes. Okay? Don't be impressed. Don't be impressed by the Chinese, especially on that side. Okay? Whatever they see, let them see. Who cares? No wisdom. What you see, when you can see things but you have no wisdom, you're not going to be very useful to the world. You're all BSing and selling yourself. And 1155, you understand there's no any problems at all. Those are the states, okay? So they say, Master Hsuan was talking about these 5 eyes are for real, and they're not like states. I mean, why go into this? It's, it's the Chinese, they gossip too much. And don't worry about this, okay? Okay, now 1156. You see, we learn we learn things from a Chinese that are useful to us in our era that we can use, but we don't need to imitate them. Okay, keep what's good. That's what American Buddhism is about. The eyes see shapes and form, but inside is nothing. The ears hear defiling sounds that my mind does not know. This is from a Chinese teaching. Yes, it's very good. Okay, meaning that when your eyes here, you can see things. Okay, but inside there's nothing. Nei wu you. What does it tell you? When you see things, okay, along with that, Okay? Along with that, there is an internal reaction. That's what Ne is telling you. Inside here, what tells you is that whatever happens outside, there's a reaction inside. Okay? So that's why Ne Wu You. Inside, there's no reaction at all. When you see people suffering next to you, you don't care. You see, I don't see nothing. Yeah? Got that? Isn't that interesting? This is Chinese wisdom. This is Chinese from the Chinese patriarch. Okay? Okay? You hear the sound, you see things out there, but inside there's nothing. Okay? Nothing moves inside. Okay? The ears hear defiling sounds. Okay? 听尘世，心不知. So the ears, it hears the defiling things. Okay, sounds, things. That's okay. The mind does not know. Meaning, you hear people screaming, hear people. You hear people, okay? The mind does not even register. Okay? So that's why we've been accused of being cold and ruthless. But they don't realize actually it's wisdom. Never mind, I'm joking too much. Okay? All right? Okay, 1157. But if one does not believe the Dharma flower comes last, it is at any rate believable that the Nirvana comes right at the end.
若不信法华居后，涅槃临终，居然可信。
Okay, 1158. Again, I apologize to especially the great masters from India and China, where they spent so much time studying this and writing up these things here, and studying it for us and dissecting it for us. But for me, my goals are different. I'm only interested in helping you parse through all this mess here. It's a lot of information, and my interest is for you to understand certain things, be exposed to certain things that will help your cultivation, not necessarily become a scholar and some kind of know-it-all scholar. Okay, and that's what you learn. You learn is that you learn this in particular. We have a new person here who's struggling a lot, keeping her legs crossed. Okay, and we see this all the time with newcomers. They cross their legs and then they get distracted because I joke too much, and they feel offended by my jokes. or the pain gets to them, right? And that's the nature of cultivation. You struggle. You're supposed to struggle. You try more, and then as much as you can. And if you can't take it anymore, you can unbuckle, and you don't have to scream. Okay, but if the longer you can stay and not unbuckle, the quicker you break through. You see, there you go. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Okay. All right. So, this going back to the text here from Master Jing Liang. He says that what he establishes is here that it's very important for you, these concepts. I want you to know that Nirvana was the last sutra that was spoken, and doesn't matter what you believe or not, the last section, the period of the teaching of Buddha, he felt it very important to teach the Lotus Sutra and the Nirvana Sutra. So those are the very big sutras. They're very, very important. That the Buddha felt like it's so important to wait for 50 years. Okay? He has to speak a lot of dharmas for a long, long time. And at the end, he says, I'm about to go. This is the most important thing I want you to remember. Okay? Whatever transpired before, I want you just to remember this. So that's why what he taught in the Dharma Flower Sutra or Lotus Sutra and Nirvana Sutra is very, very important concept. Okay? And he's going to explain. Master Ching now explain. 1:11:59. And doesn't it use one vehicle and one nature to demolish the 3 and the 5? Okay, so what he's talking about is that in the last period of teaching on the Buddha, this is so important. He felt so important, so critical that he had to remember. Is basically that's the essential teaching that he spent 50 years preparing his students for, the world for. Is basically talk about one vehicle and one nature. Okay. Before that, he talked about 3 vehicles and 5 natures. Okay. So this is what you need to understand. That's all. Don't worry about the details. Okay. So 11:61. If one makes a practice in the second period and a Dharma flower period 3, that might work in principle.
若以般若为第2识，法华为第3识，于理即通。
And so we talk about the 5 seat natures of you need to hear it, and I just want you to hear it, and then hear it for a second time here, and then if in the future when you hear someone trying to impress you with jargons, you won't be as impressed. So here are seat nature. So this is about the nature of the people who cultivate right now, who become sound hearers, Arhata Pratyeka Buddhas, or the people who now have become Bodhisattvas, like quite a few of you, okay? Like number 3 here. Or number 4, unfixed seat nature, meaning that you haven't made up your mind yet. You're undeclared major, or the lack of seat nature. Okay, so that's all. Just hear about these things, that's all. 11:63. If one makes a practice, sutra belong to what is taught in second period, Dharma Flower Sutra belong to what is spoken in period 3, that might work in principle. So he's talking about, he's making an argument here. He says, at period 3, some people divide the teaching, Buddhist teaching, into period 2, 3, 4, and so forth, okay? And he says he's going to make an argument here. But it would be in turn entail the internal contradiction of having a deep secret, which universally introduces tending towards all vehicles in the third period, whereas the Dharma flower demolishes the 3.
复自为生密第3识中，普为发去一切圣者，以法华破三故。
Okay, and so he's talking about the Buddha, when he spoke Dharma for 50 years, he spoke a lot of stuff, a lot of sutras. Okay, and naturally you will find contradictions because the audiences are different and his goal was different. So this is where you have to be careful. This is where the Buddhist teaching is a lot of expedience, including sutras. The Buddha, when he taught, he usually is for the purpose of helping a certain group of people at certain times. And then as like in our case here, as you improve, we have to change the teachings. That's all. Okay? And so this is what he's talking about. People talk about, no, Buddha only taught about the Hinayana, because that's stated, as written, recorded in black and white there. whereas Mahayana is not. So what we're trying to do here is to reconcile that kind of information, because that your exposure is not total yet. You're only exposed to a glimpse of what the Buddha taught over a career that spans over 50 years. When he talked about the Hinayana teaching was around 22 years or less. Okay? So, 1166. From this, one clearly knows that the deep secret's 3 periods are not able to decisively to determine all the sagely teaching, because it does not yet come at the very end.
明知生命30不能定断一切圣教，以位居最后故。
And so what she's referring to is that maybe there's a guy somewhere there, some people advocated the 3-2 periods and so forth, and they quoted the Deep Secret Sutra, okay, as their reference. And Master Ching Yang basically says, their bottom line is that by the end, just before he was done, he felt the most important knowledge we should have ultimately is contained in the Lotus Sutra and Nirvana Sutra. Okay? Before that, you cannot take it to be complete. 1168. Furthermore, it merely is revealing doctrine for one kind when it makes a division into 3, the doctrine being as discussed before.
且约显一类义，故分3耳，亦如前说。
You see, 1169. So apparently what happened is at the time, Master Ching Yang had to deal with a lot of Buddhist scholars who cited the Deep Secret Sutra, whatever that was, Shastra, whatever it was, to make the case for how to classify the Buddhist teachings. And so Master Ching Yang, as a scholar, because he believed in studying all these things and acknowledging all the work there, he apparently has a lot of time to do that, okay? And so he had to resolve these contradictions that people use, cited different scriptures to make their point. He says, no, what your references, your citation is not complete. Okay, it's skewed. It's all right. 1170. Looked at from the perspective of the Dharma flower, there ought to be 4 periods because the one vehicle demolishes the previous 3 vehicles.
若将法华望之，应有40，以圣教破前3圣故。
Okay, what you get from here is that the world, the Buddhist world, the world Buddhism, is still fighting between Hinayana, Mahayana, Tibetan, whatever, okay, Japanese, Korean, whatever, okay, and in particular, there's a clear delineation between Hinayana and Mahayana. Hinayana being more predominant in the world right now, okay, many more followers and more scholars study Hinayana, and only because most scholars do not understand Mahayana at all. Okay, yeah, they wrote theses and they wrote PhD papers and analysis of Mahayana sutras is all nonsense, except for maybe one person, one professor. The rest is nonsense. And you know what? The sad thing about it is that this one professor who has real wisdom, I'm pretty sure is Wan Yin Bodhisattva, understands it, understands sutra. He'll explain this gave me, the glimpse of how this professor understands the Buddhist teaching. Only this person understands even more than Master YongHua. Okay, but then he has no accolades. He's not recognized as number 1 in Buddhism at all, you see? And all the big names, professors, don't understand at all. So you see, the world of Buddhism is so fascinating. You never assume you know anything. What happened to you? You unbuckled? Scream. I'd rather you scream. Yeah, 5.
Master, did you just say that professor is Guanyin Bodhisattva?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, and he publishes books we can read? Wow, and you're not telling us who is him. Okay.
No. It causes problems among monks and the other professors.
Wow. Thank you.
Because no one will believe me anyway. But he's not, I'm sure there are other professors. They don't need to be, they can help you do a paper. You can help you understand one passage. They can help you understand this passage. That's about it. That's all we deserve. It's not a big deal. Okay? They're not meant to discredit us. They're only helping us. When I need help, they help me. And that's it. I don't even know. This is how they function. They're not asking for recognition or not. Everything they do is to help us. Very specific. Okay? They're not going to destroy academia. If they say, like, this professor is a real deal, then the whole academia crumbles. If you deserve it, you get one section, one paragraph, 1 page, 3 pages. That's all you get. Okay? There's information there that would be helpful to you. All right? And so, but the principle is still the same. You see that, that one vehicle, the concept of one vehicle, that everything we teach you is in order for you to become Buddhas. It's no other purpose. Okay? And before, that demolishes the previous 3 vehicles, before the Hinayana says you can become a sound hearer, an arhat, or enlightened to conditions. Okay? And that's the goal of Buddhism. Okay? And this Dharma Flower Sutra basically says, no, that's not the ultimate goal of why the Buddha came. That's too small. Okay? Now, and then others, like some of my Shishura disciples said, you should study the Prajna teaching because it's the Bodhisattva vehicle. No, not at all. Okay? You should be studying the Lotus Sutra and Nirvana Sutra. That's the ultimate one vehicle teaching because you're supposed to learn how to become a Buddha. Not just a sound hearer, not just a bodhisattva. You need to become a Buddha. You want to become a Buddha. Don't set your sights too low. Okay? Someone needs to teach the screamer that, you need to increase it. Okay? The training here, all of you, remember this. The training is for you to endure more. Each time, if you can. Okay? Don't regress. Don't go sit for a long time, then next time you don't feel like it, legs hurt too much, you pull back. No. The training is meant for you to sit a little bit longer. 2 minutes longer. 10 seconds longer. Drill it into your head, into your psyche. You push yourself a little bit more, then that's good enough. And if you're better, you push yourself more and more and more. Okay? If you have the stamina. But the concept behind this is that you're supposed to struggle. And you're supposed to be willing to struggle a little bit more. That's how you're going to open your wisdom. You do that, it will naturally open. You don't need to understand anything. You don't need to understand, there's nothing at all. It's putting a hat on a head. Give me a break. That's for scholars, it's not for us. And 1172, Master YongHua says, explained that Buddha spoke many sutras, and later his disciples, his big disciples, came and established styles of teaching, schools of teaching based on the Buddhas. Okay, so you should know about the Tiantai teachings, which is established by Master Zhuge, okay, the wise one, and the very, very profound teachings. And this is what we base the translation of the Vimalakirti Sutra. We'll be lecturing tomorrow afternoon on his explanation. Okay, so it's kind of cool. And another concept you should know, that Dharma Flower Sutra, whatever was taught before, is called provisional. Buddha's teaching career, until the time when he spoke the Lotus Sutra, everything is called provisional teaching. And when after he taught the last period, the Lotus Sutra and Nirvana Sutra, became the actual teaching. Yes, 5.
Master, is Avatamsaka Sutra included in here?
I'm glad you asked. 1173. And then that's from Master Zhuge. And then there's another great teacher, the great Chinese teacher by Xian Shou. You see, this is why the Chinese Buddhism is so advanced. Because to me, they're so much more interesting. I cannot compare good or bad, but I like them a lot more than the Indian system of teaching. You have Master Zhuge, who is so extremely erudite, and then you have also Master Xian Shou, okay, who was the expert at deciphering the Flower Adornment Sutra. Okay, and so Master Xian Shou established the 5 types of he explained thoroughly the Flower Adornment Sutra, and he established a system to study or understand the Flower Adornment Sutra. Okay, and so you see, so Master Jingliang here reaffirms for us the very important sources of information in Buddhism that's very profound is from Master Zhuge and Master Xian Shou. Okay? So I want you to hear about these sources, these references, these names. That's all. Okay? And this is not in the domain of what we're trying to do. But in the future, when you want to broaden or deepen your understanding, these are the sources where you should go. And they're Chinese. This is why I always maintain that you ought to learn China language, okay? Because it's very profound teaching. And then 1174, he talked about, you see, see, I'm not the only one who digresses. He digresses constantly. See, and he talked about the 3 monks who he sent 5 people to Taiwan to receive precepts. Only 3 monks came back. Okay, I think maybe 1 nun came back as well. He lost 1. They lost 1 guy. And he says they board a plane and there is some sort of bomb scare. Okay, and so they were taught to recite. Okay. I don't know what they recited. I'm pretty sure it's like Da Bei Zhou. Master YongHua is always Da Bei Zhou. Yes, JC?
마스터, 모든 부처님이 설하신 경이 많은데 그 경들의 목적이 깨닫고 부처님이 되기 위한 그 단 한 가지의 목적인지 궁금합니다.
thing is to become a Buddha and get enlightened? Is it right?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat, please?
Buddha explained so many sutras. The purpose of this sutra is to become Buddha and get enlightened?
Yeah, the Buddha, when people came to study from the Buddha, his purpose is to help them open their wisdom. Open the wisdom meaning become enlightened. Become enlightened meaning that many levels of enlightenment. Many levels. Okay? And so Buddha started teaching more and more. If you don't understand a lot, he started teaching you Hinayana. And then after you understand Hinayana, you reach your Arhata and condition, enlightened to condition level. Then he started teaching about Vaipulya and so forth. So he taught people gradually with the secret intention of bringing them to become to reach the highest level of wisdom. Okay, it's like when you teach children, you don't want to tell them eventually, I want you to get a master's degree or PhD degree. Okay, you want first to teach them to go to kindergarten, make sure they survive and eat their broccoli. Okay, it's the same thing how the Buddha treated us. He patiently waited for us. He only taught enough so that we can understand and not get discouraged. But it's a lot more that he could tell us at the time. So by the time, so that's why what it really means is that the teacher, now the Buddha is no longer here. So what it means is that the Buddhist teachers need to be able to understand and not overwhelm the students. The teacher has a responsibility of not just throwing jargons at you, but it has to look at the people and say, how much can I talk today that will make sense for them? Okay? And how much can I tell them when I give them answers to their questions? Okay? So, because that's only all in the spirit of bringing you, to all of you, reach the level of wisdom of the Buddha. That's the purpose, yes. That's a long answer to say yes. Okay? Yeah. All right. And then Master YongHua says they recited whatever, and they got the bomb scare to go away. And it's the same thing. Okay? Yeah. Don't panic when you get in trouble. Okay? Yeah. You should be reciting. We gave you plenty of mantras, with plenty of tools for you to do, to learn to take care of yourself. Okay? Don't use them to help others because you don't have the wisdom yet. But the first thing you ought to learn to do is you use those tools to take care of yourself. All right? So that's why he says here, they recited, and because they had some challenges, so they had to recite some mantras to take care of it. Yeah. Okay, and then the problem went away. They could, the plane could take off. 1175. If one maintains that there are two Buddha natures, one being the nature in principle, and the other being the nature in practice.
若谓佛性有二，一者理性，二者行性。
Okay, again, more of this scholarly kind of discussion that talk about Buddha nature. I'm the Buddha nature, the two kinds, the one in principle, one in practice. And I'm struggling so much for you just to believe in one Buddha nature, never mind about practice. You believe anything, I'm happy with it. So believe that you have a Buddha nature, that you could, you're learning, you're being trained to use to improve the quality of life by developing your wisdom. Okay? 1177, and that the nature in principle is definitely possessed, whereas the nature in practice may perhaps not be possessed. It is possible to speak that way.
理性定有，行性或无，斯言可耳。
Okay, now the concept here in Buddhism is so Buddhist. Okay? He's talking about the nature in principle versus nature in practice. It's referring to two aspects of Buddhism. We teach you the principles, meaning the theory behind it. Okay, what about the practice? The practice is designed like crossing your legs and doing the pains, or reciting mantras, or doing ceremonies are called practices. Practices are designed to help you, what? Realize your nature, connect with your nature. Okay, that's a concept I want you to be aware of. What do they call it? Nature in practice, nature in principle, whatever. It's ultimately, it's about you. Okay, practice meaning, what do I do to activate it, to make it happen, to enjoy its use. Okay. And see, so this is the problem with scholars. They only use a lot of words, but we just talk, and they are really like drinking non-alcoholic beer. You put it in your mouth, you don't swallow. What's the point? You don't like the connection? I find it very accurate. 1179. Therefore, the Nirvana says, or there may be possession of Buddha nature on the part of people with good roots, while the people who are ichantikas do not have it, which is just a nature in practice.
故聂云：或有佛性，善根人有，产提人无，即是行性。
You see, and these scholars go on and on and on. Okay, they say, in principle, we ever have the Buddha nature. You believe it, therefore, it's real to you. And if you want proof about the people who have the people who have no Buddha nature. Actually, they actually have the Buddha nature in practice. And he's trying to make a point here later. Okay, it's very convoluted, like some people. It's like complicated. It's so complicated. 1181. Or there may be possession of Buddha nature, which is two kinds of the two kinds of people both possess, which is just the nature in principle.
或有佛性，二人具有，即是理性。
Okay, bottom line. In Buddhism, you can talk. That's principle. You can talk. Today is talk. It's principle. This is very important. Okay? You need to talk. And then there's practice. This is so Buddhist. The scholars only talk. They don't practice. Worldly people, they practice, but they don't talk. Wait, that doesn't sound right. I take it back. Okay. The people who have no wisdom in Buddhism, okay, it's because they don't know how to practice. You can find the talk and the words, the scriptures in Buddhism. That's important. But what is lacking is that the practices that will help you really penetrate those words. Okay? That's very Buddhist. The question is that if you really have wisdom, why are you so unhappy? Wisdom is supposed to make you happy, but you're not. You spend so many years studying the words and studying, getting degrees and so forth, making a lot of money. In the end, you still look at yourself in the mirror and say, I don't like myself. Anyone? Wait, except for one. Tonight, I like myself. That one has wisdom. Okay. The rest of us, we don't like ourselves, yeah? Okay. And that's the bottom line. That's the principle, is that you should be happy, is a principle. A Buddha, enlightenment is true happiness, folks. That's the principle. Okay? Practice is that. In Buddhism, if that's the case, how come I'm not? What am I supposed to do? Tell me what to do. That's very Buddhist. So what people learn in Buddhism nowadays is only the words. You know, you're supposed to be enlightened, you're the Buddha. But no one dare ask them, so what am I supposed to do to get there, to be that? It's just like you should be a billionaire, but no one tells you how. Right? It doesn't make sense. And that's Buddhism. What's Buddhism nowadays is like. They just say, you should be enlightened, you should be Buddha. And they only talk. They don't tell you how, what you need to do, each and every one of you needs to do to be a Buddha, to become enlightened, to be happy. No one. They want to talk. They want to talk about words. You should be happy. You should be Buddha. You should have wisdom. But no one tells you how. And this is what American Buddhism we hope to try to do with you, is that do it so that you are the living proof of the practice, not just words. Buddhism now is reduced to just words. People talk. And in the end, I hope you support our goodwill and give us more money to build a bigger temple. As a matter of fact, I'm building a very big Buddha hall. Very, very, very big. We can use more financial support. I'm very sincere. I hope you support us. Instead of believing that we are supposed to support you in your practice. How's that? I want you to have different kind of paradigm, different kind of mindset. Chongin Sinin. It's not about them coming to build you another temple. No, it's about you going back to your country and learn how to help these people become enlightened. Like the Americans. If you're not, shame on you. Okay? I think the premise is wrong. I feel that that's why I feel that the monks and nuns nowadays are hiding behind that aura of that we are Mahayana, we're Buddhism and so forth. Instead of, in American, we asked, what's in it for me? Are you for real? You talk and talk. How come after I listen, I spent so much time with you, 10 years, 20 years reciting Buddha's name, I'm still not happy. I'm still so scared. I'm still not convinced I can go to the Pure Land. I'm still not convinced I'm enlightened. There's something wrong there. And now it's time to vote in a new person. The heck with the status quo. And it's funny, now people are fed up with that. All around the world, they're throwing out the old system. They said, "No, we want change." People are waking up to that. Okay, and so let's join the party and call for actions instead of just empty promises. How come I'm not happy? After all this time, how come it still hurts? Wait, don't ask that. Never could fix that problem. But it's fun, no? Any questions and comments? So I want you to understand, I don't understand deep down, I don't understand the Avatamsaka Prologue at all. It's a scary thing. They talk about all sorts of weird things that if you claim to understand, you better go into deep secret sutra, whatever, to read it, and then try to understand it before you come back here and bring it up. And this is Buddhism for you, okay? When we talk about these things, Master Ching Yang, when he talked about this thing, when he wrote this, he actually went and read it and then looked at all the write-ups on those sutras, and he said, I got it now. Then he wrote this prologue. This is very Buddhist for you. This is setting the standards are incredible. And that's why it's not for us. Honestly, we need to say, this is fantastic. This is tremendous amount of work, okay? This tremendous wisdom, but it's probably too much for our times, I feel. Okay? I hope that in the future, we change that. We say, yeah, this is for us. But now, with the early days of American Mahayana, it's not for us, to me. So that's why my approach with this is that to use it, to talk to you, encourage you to hurt more, take more reading, and hear the concepts, and that's about it. Okay? If I don't know why Master YongHua really explained this, to be honest with you. It's way too much for our era. And so therefore you see Master YongHua's vision is so much further than ours. He sees that in the future generations, not my generation, could be yours, I don't know, but they'll be able to look into this prologue and say, wow, I like this. This is so fantastic. And let me tell you, if you really are able and have the time to dig into this prologue, you love it. It's tremendous. The depth is incredible. You see, the depth of Master Ching Yang is incredible. That tells you that our Mahayana knowledge is so shallow. Okay? Because the Chinese have thousands of years ahead of us. Okay? Don't be fooled yourself. We have so much to learn from the Chinese. Okay? And maybe in the future, the Bodhisattva will become Americans, and then help American Mahayana. But this is Chinese Mahayana. It's profound, so much more than our knowledge. Okay? Be humble. There's so much to learn. Thank you, everyone. We stop here tonight.